Well, hello there, beautiful. It's Kylie Patchett here. Welcome to the Wild and Finally Pecking Free podcast. I deeply believe that the years during and beyond perimenopause are a rite of passage. All of a sudden, we find ourselves on the precipice of a life transition where our brain literally rewires and runs out of fucks to give. We find ourselves shifting identity, no longer caring what other people think, and being invited to expand into new ways of being. Here, we share the real and raw stories from women who've been through deep midlife metamorphosis, taken a leap of faith, or broken the ties that bind us in patterns of staying small, stuck, and like our needs just don't matter. This is the midlife medicine you didn't even know you needed. Stories full of joy, despair, freedom, courage, and deep self-honoring. I am so glad you found us. Welcome. Welcome to another edition of the Wild and Finally Fucking Free podcast show. Today, I have the honour of introducing you to the beautiful Krissy Holloway. Good morning, Krissy. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very well, thank you.
Yay. Exciting. I'm very excited to dive into this interview. Krissy and I are connected through a business group that we're both in, and I didn't know a lot of this story, so yay. So, Krissy, before we get started, in your own words, how would you like to introduce yourself to our beautiful community?
I'm a mum of 3, a grandmother of 6. I live on a farm, a 40-acre farm. As my husband says, 39 acres too many. I've got my own business. I own a boutique day spa, and I've also got a bell tent, which I'm starting to facilitate women's circles, kids mindfulness, meditation, that side of things. I've had a bit of a health issue, so I've had to basically flip my business and go down a different route of how I'm going to be working.
Oh my goodness. Already I've got so many additional questions. Tell me more about the bell tent. I don't know what a bell tent is. What is that?
Well, as my husband calls it, it's a yurt.
Oh, yes. I love a yurt. I know what a yurt is, yes.
Yeah. That just, to me, a yurt, I don't know, it reminds me of a goat for some reason.
It actually reminds me of a yak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a bell tent come in something like feminine and nice and soft for me. A yurt just doesn't bring it. So my bell tent is a very big bell tent. I can fit comfortably. I like to have in my circle about 10 because then we've got room to move and lay down. But, yeah, it's a very big tent. It's, I don't know, it's divine, I think.
Beautiful. The first time I came across a yurt was I was learning yoga in a form of shiatsu on the Sunshine Coast, and the man that I learnt from had a yurt in his backyard permanently, and he used to do yoga and meditation circles and like a sweat lodgy sort of style of thing in there. And yes, now that you say it, it was a very like earthy, masculine sort of energy in there. So yes, I'm going to go with bell tent too. So when you were explaining before, first of all, where is your beautiful farm so that we know orientation?
So we're up the Murraylands in Murray Bridge. We're over on the east side.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
In the beautiful South Australia. And you were just saying before we recorded that almost everything is underwater at the moment there, which is crazy.
It's coming this way within the next few weeks. Everything will be like getting flooded through here. So, yeah.
Wow. It's amazing, isn't it, what the weather's doing? So tell me, when I invited you on the show, what story were you called to share in terms of something that you've had to overcome or leap across or bust through?
Yeah, I got a big lump in my throat. So we were talking, I think in the business call, it was something that had dropped in, and for me it was that week that I finally had this epiphany of like, I'm actually a DV survivor. And it's, I don't know, 28 years or something now, 27 years. And I've only just in the last 3 months realised that I came across a lady on Instagram, her page, and it was all about being a DV survivor.
Yeah.
And I just think that I was looking at her posts like, oh, yeah, I experienced that. Yeah, I went through that. Yeah, did that. Yeah, he acted like that. And it was just like, it hit me. And it was like, you idiot, here you've been all these years going, oh, no, he was just a drunk and, obviously I said something wrong and obviously I did this wrong, and put it all back on myself. And now when here I am, 51 years old, look back and it's like, you fucking idiot. You didn't do anything wrong. The only thing I did do wrong that I regret to this day is putting my babies through it. But apart from that, it's finally sunk in that I wasn't ever in the wrong, he was.
Yeah.
And I'm just realizing it now. And all these years I've hidden and not done what my true value is and what my true calling I feel is until now. And it's like, I'm not going to let him win anymore. I'm not going to let him have that hold over me anymore. So, when you said you were looking for people with experiences, it was like, oh, I want there to be known to girls that you don't have to put up with the bullshit. And, as scary as it is to go, you can go.
And Krissy, I just, having been in that call, there was like that realization came with a lot of emotion, obviously, because putting pieces together. On the surface, we were talking about sharing what you do in business. And then there's this whole depth of emotional kind of, chiropractic adjustment going on where you have that realization, and just honoring the fact that it is tender and that you're still here and you're still choosing to share. So thank you. When you say that you don't want young girls to go through that, are you comfortable sharing some of the signs, not even the signs, some of the things that you explained away, blaming yourself, which you now actually do recognize as, symptoms of, or not even symptoms, the actual facts of domestic violence?
I just, I know, it's a hard one. I just knowing that you feel like you're walking on eggshells. Anything that you say could be a trigger.
Yep.
I knew that if he drank red wine, that was one thing that it was like turning a light switch on. It was like you just flick that switch and bang. He was in like a ultimate rage.
Some people, that's the rum thing, isn't it? Like I know I've got friends that cannot drink rum because they're mild-mannered, lovely people, and then something, I don't know, but it doesn't, sounds like this is there was a new depth of something that was already there with that type of alcohol.
So I just, it all came down to things like how I dressed, how I was never allowed to cut my hair. I wasn't allowed to do anything with my hair. And even to this day, like, I still sort of ask my husband, my now husband, like, is it okay if I cut my hair short? Like, I went through some health issues and I shaved my head. And he you do whatever you want to do with your hair. This time, cutting my hair short, he's rebelled against me and grown his hair long.
Long live the mullet in a 50-year-old man. You could love that.
He thinks I hate it, but secretly knowing that my first husband was a surfer and I like surfy hair. And
there you go.
Like, no, you keep growing your hair.
You little rebel, you.
So it's just the little things, being told how you could spend your money, being told where you could go and when you couldn't, just being controlled.
That's the word that keeps coming. Control. And any time that you feel like you need to ask for permission, to me is a reason to start shining a bit of a light on. Hey, gorgeous. We interrupt this gold for a delicious invitation. If your whole body has been whispering more lately, more voice, more truth, more satisfaction, more clients of the soulmate variety, more cash, more you, then this invitation is for you. Potent, my sister mind is officially open. This is my high touch, holy fuck, I'm ready sister mind for rebels in good girl clothing who are done outsourcing their power and diluting their magic to fit into someone else's business formula. If you have been craving a space where your strategy, your voice, and your energy all get to be offered, honored, refined, and amplified, this is it. Inside of Potent, you'll get my eyes on your business every single week, copy mentoring, and that is for brand copy and content storytelling that turns your truth into client catnip, energetic recalibration that helps you unhook old learned limitation patterns, keeping you quiet, not being seen, not being heard, real-time, high-touch, one-on-one coaching that actually sees the bigness of your vision, and the kind of sisterhood that does not flinch when you show up in your full, messy, brilliant, phoenix rising from the ashes glory. This isn't surface level support. It's deep, potent, paradigm shifting work that changes who you are as a woman in business and a woman in life. We start in August. Early open access is open right now. For the month of June 2025, inside of this early access open doors period, you will receive juicy bonuses, extended payment plans, and access immediately to my entire library of storytelling gold. You'll find all the juicy details at kyliepatchett.com/potent. And we fill spaces, and there's only 10 of them, and more than likely only 5 by the time you listen to this, because by that time I will have offered them to the existing cohort, the beautiful original OG circle. We do actually take applications on a first come, first served basis. So come and apply, and let's get back to the magic of the episode.
Yeah, and it just, I don't know, I blocked out quite a bit of stuff. I went and seen a psychologist.
Yeah.
I can't,
psychologist, probably.
Yeah. A long time back, and he actually made me write a letter, and he said, like, we're not going to send it. I need you to write everything out in the letter. I've actually got it here next to me. I was looking at it before. It's like 8 pages long of just everything that I could remember what he'd done to me. And when I took it back the following week, he actually said, I want you actually to send it. And I was like, there's no way in hell I'm sending this to him. He said, but if you send that, he might actually realise. And it's like, nah, there'd be way too many repercussions if I sent that to him. He'd know that I've gone to someone, like, not police, but formally. So, yeah. But there's always, like, the other side of things is you'll have the fight. They'll, do whatever trauma to you, beat you, whatever, just manipulating, talking down to you. And then the next day they're remorseful and they'll buy you presents and flowers and I'm sorry, it won't happen again. And it's like,
the love bombing, I'm a flawed human, please forgive me bullshit that then creates that trauma bonding cycle of just, I'll keep going back because I want to be, I don't know, and especially when we're young, like you just look back at yourself. So how old were you when this relationship started?
I would have been in my mid-20s.
Yeah, so young. And we just, I don't know, I think unfortunately a lot of us also grow up in families where, I don't know whether this is your case, but I certainly had my share of very odd relationships in my early 20s because I grew up in a house where it was normal for me to take care of other people, not myself. So I didn't even have a filter of how does this feel in my body? How does this how does this actually feel to my soul to be treated like that? I didn't really even have that filter. I actually was just telling one of my daughters, how funny is this? Before I met my husband, whose name is Shane, I actually went out with another guy called Shane, and he used to get dressed every morning in an army uniform, every morning, drive somewhere for 8 hours, drive back still in the army uniform. He was never in the army.
Okay.
Yes. So my dad, 26 years in the army, was calling bullshit early on in this ridiculous, and there was other, I would not describe that as domestic violence, but definitely some unhinged, not well in himself behaviors. And I don't know, it's a part of me that was like, number one, I grew up in a household that was chaotic. So I was used to being in chaotic relationships. So it was the uncomfortable comfort zone, that horrible sort of, I don't know, you find the level that you used to. But also, I don't know, I just wanted to believe him. So I didn't listen to any of the spidey senses. Now I look back and go, what the fuck are you doing, Kylie? What the heck? That's just so crazy. But yeah, I wonder whether if we were given a filter much earlier on that our needs are actually really important and that we get to check in with ourselves. Did you have a sense back then that it wasn't comfortable, or you similarly used to, I don't know?
No, and that's the whole thing. My childhood was storybook, sort of had parents, had a beautiful house, and great upbringing. And then meeting him, I don't know, I was married and had my 2 kids at quite a young age. My parents were they were strict in a way. Mm-hmm. But then, when I met him, it was sort of like, I don't know, I guess he had a 2 sort of split personality, showing in front of the parents and all that. He was great.
Yes. Okay.
He was in the rugby club, and my stepbrother, him and all their family is all in the rugby. So mm-hmm. I did have a very close-knit circle of girlfriends. I apologized to one of them the other day because she was my soundboard. I didn't even know. She told me the other week that I used to ring her at all hours of the morning and saying, he's going off, he's just beaten me again, what do I do? And I don't remember doing any of that, but I've had girlfriends tell me before that I used to rock up at school black and blue, and I'd be hiding it, and thought I was hiding it, but just he had this persona. He had long hair, and everyone used to say, oh, you look like Fabio, and he was quite good looking and in his own sort of way. Now I look back and think,
now I look back with my older, wiser eyes.
And just, I don't know, he had a mannerism that he could charm anyone, especially the women. He could charm the women like anything.
Right, yeah.
But if I think now, God, I was only 24, 25, and I was with him for 3 or 4 years. If I found out that either of my daughters were in that predicament, I would go down there and beat the living crap out of the bloke myself.
Exactly.
And I kind of think, did I hide it that well from my parents not to say anything and not to do anything? At the end of the day, when I did finally get away, my mum and my auntie and uncle did help me pack up and move.
Yeah.
But stupidly, I got sucked back in for a little while and went back, and then it was New Year's 2000 that I rocked up at his house. We were supposed to be going to a friend's New Year's party, and I rocked up and he had a prostitute there, and it was like,
oh.
And then I found out later that that's what he was doing. Even when he was looking after my kids, he'd be on the internet. So a trust thing there now for me is still to this day with my husband that I've been with for 19 years. I still have an insecurity and check his phone. Are you cheating on me? Are you looking at anything? It's all, ingrained in your head now, and it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very hard. I've always said to my kids, trust is something that's incredibly fragile, and once you break it, it's very difficult to, not that your husband's broken your trust, but that it's a similar sort of thing as when your trust has been broken, then it is very easy to be afraid of the same thing happening because it's bloody painful, right? That's what our brains are trained to do, protect us from pain. Therefore, we try and preempt it. So,
and that's why I think I've blocked out quite a bit of it. I think it's just my brain doesn't want to go back there and doesn't want to remember. My poor son, he's now 31. He's from a very young age of like 6 or so, he's had grey hair, a patch of grey hair because of the trauma that they watched, asking him to stop and just watching the abuse and, stuff getting broken and smashed. And it's like no kid has to live through that.
What do you think that, because you're right, our brains absolutely have protective mechanisms in trauma, and so I have similar things. Like I can't remember a lot of stuff that happened when I was a kid, and when you start reading stuff like your body keeps the score, and like we don't remember it in our brains, but our body is holding on to the stored trauma. When you think back to those, like the early days when you created a break, I'm just curious why in this present day the awareness of domestic violence has rolled through for whatever reason and made that connection. Early on, how were you trying to make sense of it? If you weren't saying that you're in a domestic violence situation, did you just blame yourself and say you must have done something wrong? That was your key. Making sense of it.
He'd had, like, I'd put it down to, okay, he's just had a couple too many drinks, and obviously I said something wrong, and it's like walking on eggshells. It's just you just constantly, I must have done this, and in your head you twist it around and blame yourself. Oh, if I did it this way, that wouldn't have happened.
That wouldn't have been,
Maybe if I did this wouldn't have happened, and so
So if you go back to, where we were in the business call and this awareness comes out, what made you like we started talking about it before, that in business you haven't been comfortable, sharing, or not so much sharing, but you use the words, actually stepping into what I'm called to do, what my life purpose is. So can you explain a little bit more about that in terms of how this sort of pattern that's happened a long time ago has played out in your business, and now with the awareness, what has been invited to change, I guess?
After I got away, I probably had quite a few boyfriends and different relationships.
Yeah.
And I found that I was always arguing and I was always fighting and standing my ground. And I used to say, like, whatever. Like, I remember one time being at a pub and some young lads coming in and being smart and saying something, and I was like arguing with them, and I was even like, well, come on then, let's go outside. I'll fight with you. Don't think that you're going to be able to punch me and hurt me any more than what I've already been through.
Yeah.
So I've always had this, like, and I was known to, like, my nickname used to be B1 because I was the biggest bitch in town because I wouldn't stand for any bullshit, and I was like, I'd say it flat out how it was. And I was always known to be an angry sort of person. And even like my partner Glenn, he was told by someone in the very early stages, wait till you see Krissy on a Friday night. And he still says to me to this day, I'm still waiting for this Friday night.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're obviously my pacifier because you've calmed me down.
Well, he's your safe space.
Yeah.
It feels safe. Yeah.
I've always just had this anger, and then I guess I also just retreated and I'm still like pushing. I'm on the edge and pushing myself to, so this to me, like I said before we came on, I'm shitting my pants because I'm putting myself out there. I'm being vulnerable now and I'm going, okay, here I am. Here's the real me.
Without the anger as a protective barrier.
Yeah, and I'm trying to, I feel that I've let go of that. I'm 51 now. I've gone through, 2 years back had cervical cancer, gone through menopause and all the fun stuff that
I know, right? The clusterfuckery of menopause.
Yeah. So I'm just I know that I've got to put myself out there and go, well, here I am. Here's the person that I was before. Before I could say even before I had my kids, but even when I did have my kids and they were little, I wasn't an angry person. I wasn't someone that would, want to fight some bloke at the pub or anything, because I didn't have that anger in me. I didn't have that self, I guess, protection mode going on. It was just, I was just being me. So
something's popping into my head. First of all, you say B1 and you've got a yellow top on, and all I can think of is bananas in pajamas. Anyway, but apart from that, mustard. Isn't it funny how, though, to me, I know you're saying, you're an angry person, you're argumentative, but it's interesting to me that the automatic societal reference point of a woman who stands her ground and won't have her boundaries crossed is that she's being a bitch. That's number one. I'm like, there's something that, I'm very passionate about. And even like I had to stand my ground really strongly with a family thing yesterday. And once I'd set my boundary and responded the way that I needed to after I'd calmed myself down, immediately I was like, you are just a nasty bitch. And I'm like, no, I'm not a nasty bitch. I'm standing my ground and saying what is and isn't okay. And I think, when we think about anger, I really relate to having a lot of anger inside of me, definitely. And I think perimenopause just lifted the freaking lid on it. And it's like, not anger, rage. Let's rage. Rage against everything. And, maybe in time the podcast, the title might be like Wild and Fluffily Free. But to me, Wild and Finally Fucking Free is a bit of an anger. But to me, anger always comes when people cross boundaries, or when you feel that your boundaries are, and to me, from a behavioral point of view, it makes a lot of sense for me when your boundaries have been being crossed in a relationship that was very dysfunctional, to then be, you swing in the other direction of the pendulum, and then the boundaries become like, don't fuck with me. So, yeah. But how beautiful to find yourself at this age, having also gone through other challenges. And I guess I don't know, I'm feeling, because I don't get anger. I know we've only just really met each other in the last few months, but I've never ever thought, geez, that Krissy, she's an angry one. I get gentle and warm and, soft and compassionate. So do you feel that is the way that you've softened into yourself over the last few years?
That's what I hope to look and feel.
Yeah, you do. You really do. Yeah, you just have such a beautiful, gentle and calm energy. It's very nice to be around.
Well, thank you. That's something that I've never been told.
Yeah. Oh, well. Wow, really? Not ever?
No.
Wow.
Yeah. So, it's embarrassing to actually hear that. But, yeah, I don't know. Fast forwarding 2 years back, went through cervical cancer, and my whole world just got turned upside down. And just knowing and seeing how supportive my husband is, just thinking, what the hell am I going to do? And then I didn't have to go through any chemo or anything, so I was lucky in that respect. But, now it's sort of like, I don't know, not having my period for a whole 12 months has been fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But he still says that I'm going through a cycle, because he says, oh, I reckon you would have been having your period by now. And it's like, why do you say that? And he goes, oh, I can hear your tone and you're getting a bit snappy.
Yeah, a little bit snippy on the edges. Snippy.
Just don't piss me off. Just do it my way.
Yeah, exactly. Work as a team and do it my way. I don't know why that's so hard to understand. So so you went through cervical cancer in the middle of COVID then? Is that right? 2020.
20. Yeah, so I was diagnosed, so Glenn and I went and eloped, much to our kids' disgust. It was like 15 years of engagement. I thought it was time. So we went and eloped, went to Port Douglas and came back, and then everything that week of getting back, everything went into lockdown. I knew something wasn't right in my health, and I'd been saying it for a while. Another thing, coming back to the first, like the trauma of the abuse, I had a cervical, like a abnormal pap smear way back, and then I had another one when I was with this ex, and I had to go in and have a LETS treatment. Sort of surgery with the cervical cancer. He took me to the hospital, and he said to me, "Oh, what have you been doing? Have you been sleeping around to get this?" And it's like, are you fucking for real? Like,
no.
And then but I had
interesting coming from someone who was actually doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I have found out, though, that cervical cancer is actually caused by male sperm.
Oh.
So that's why back in the day, they used to say as soon as you're sexually active, for young girls to go and have pap smears. Now they're pushing it back to in their 20s. But trusting your body.
Yes, trusting your body massively. Yeah.
So I went to the hospital to have the surgery that day, him doing his usual charm on all the nurses. He was sort of flirting with all of them, and it's like, mate, I'm about to go in to have surgery. Like, do you not get it? He left me, had my surgery, woke up, he wasn't there, and he left me there.
Nice.
So, didn't pick me up until, like, I can't even remember how I got home. I think I ended up getting my mum to get me. So that straight up was just like, I've been abandoned. So stupid me, 24 years later, didn't have not one pap smear in between. I was supposed to have them every 6 months and then every 12 months. So 24 years later, here I am. And I knew that something wasn't right. I was flooding when I was having my period. I was having lots of stomach cramps and pains. And I just knew in my body, like, knew that something wasn't right. And before we went away, I'd said something to my husband. He's like, well, go and have a check. And my whole right side was starting to, my mum has MS, and my whole right side was starting to play up. And I was like, going, here we go. So I went to the doctors begrudgingly and asked to have a pap smear. And she asked why I wanted pap smear and this and that. And it's like, well, to me, I'm thinking, why are you asking if I want one? Like, I haven't had one for 24 years.
Let's just do it. Yeah.
Shouldn't you be slapping me around and going, you silly cow? Like, let's have one.
Right. You shouldn't even be giving me the lecture by now.
Yeah. So she sent me down the route of, I've got MS. And I was like, no, I don't. My mum has it. It's not hereditary.
No.
And she said, no, your symptoms are MS. So Glenn and I went away, got married, came back. We came back and it was like, what am I going to do? And he's like, let's just do all the tests then. So I went and had the MRIs. I had the neurology tests. I had everything. And I kept saying, it's not that.
It's not, you're barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah. So 6 months later, I've said to her again, can you do this pap smear? So she still hadn't done one. So she finally did the pap smear. And then, oh, hello, you've got cervical cancer. So it's like, if only you did it 6 months ago, I wouldn't have had to spend all this money on all these other treatments and tests and everything. Went to the cancer clinic, had tests done there, found that, I was in high SIN 3, SIN 4, so that's one of the higher levels. So I had to go have surgery. I asked the gynecologist, who was very revolting at the cancer clinic. My husband was with me, and when we left, I said, do you reckon he's a gynae because he never get a woman? As rude and as horrible that is, but I think that was the only way he was going to see any
action.
ladies bits.
Yes.
So he denied me having a hysterectomy. And I was mortified by that. So I went in and had my first surgery. 12 months later, I found my own gynecologist and she did some more tests, and I had some I'm going to have a mental blank. Another good thing of menopause.
Yeah, no, right. Foggy brain.
I can't. Cysts? Yeah, cysts. I had some cysts. She found some cysts and found some other things. And she's like, why didn't they just do a full hysterectomy there and then? And it's like, because he said no. Obviously, he was hoping. Obviously, he was hoping I'd have to come back to him and he could, I don't know. But, so went in and had another lot of surgery. And, so the joys of that is I've gone into, had already started menopause, but
now
I've gone
into surgical menopause.
Full medical menopause now. And, weight's gone from sitting around 80, 90 kilos. I'm now kicking 103 kilos.
Don't you love that? The gifts.
Yeah.
How do you feel in yourself? Are you feeling like health-wise and vitality? Because you always feel to me to feel very healthy, like glowy sort of healthy. So do you feel like that?
No, I feel like a piece of shit.
You're doing a good job faking it.
I guess it's the hottest I've ever been. My body, I'm having hot flushes, so it's the hottest I've ever been.
I love it.
We've done some renovations here at the house, and back in April we started doing our bathroom, and I got a lung infection which ended up being pneumonia, and then ended up being allergic to our house.
Oh no.
And then 3 weeks ago we decided to burn a big bonfire pile, and stupidly didn't remember that all the stuff that we'd ripped out of the house was in the bonfire, so got lung issues again. So I just seem to just not still to this day, touch wood, I have not had COVID.
Me neither, touch wood. I've got a wood desk underneath me, touch wood. Although there is, I don't know, what are we up to, the 5th wave or something happening in Queensland at the moment, all sort of coming back. And do you have any sense that the lung stuff is part of the unraveling or realization about what happened in the past, in terms of, like, if I put my woo-woo bodywork hat on, lungs, grief, letting go of old shit, that sort of stuff? Or do you feel like it's just physical?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it that way. I'd like to think it is, and me purging and letting it go. But I also look at it like, I'm allergic to the house we need to sell. We need to buy a house by the beach.
You want to go to the beach anyway, so it's like, yes, my lungs are telling me I need the water.
I need the ocean.
Air. I need the salt air. They used to do that in the old days, didn't they? If you were recuperating, you had to go to the ocean to heal. I'm like, I definitely need to recuperate. I love the ocean, and we're 2 and a bit hours away from the nearest ocean, so I understand. So tell me more then, in terms of, so you got cervical cancer, you've had this realization about what's been going on, way in the past. Your business used to look very different to what it does now. So you used to do much more one-on-one beauty services, day spa sort of stuff. Is that right?
Yeah. So I was doing massage, but since my body's starting to just go, I mean, I've been doing massage, I'll be 19 years, 20 years this July I've been doing massage. So
long time.
Yeah. My body's just had enough. So I've had to drop that off, and I've, again, that regret, and I have a guilt that I'm letting my clients down. I feel I'm struggling to transition between, because I feel like I'm letting those clients down, but then I'm trying to bring in and show other women that, we're all normal, and we're all the same at the end of the day, and we're here to support each other. I grew up, like I was saying, my mum's the eldest one of 9, so I grew up with having big families, lots and of, aunties and that, and
community,
and I remember,
collective.
Yeah, I remember being young and being little and having my cousins and sitting with aunties and that, and them talking at my nana's table and everything, and always having that connection. So if something was going wrong, they had each other to support.
Yes.
Growing up nowadays, it's like everyone's on the bloody internet. Like
in isolation. Yeah.
I'm not tech savvy at all. And I've only got my phone. I don't even own a computer. Yeah. And I have no interest in owning one because it's
not your thing and you don't need it. And I think, like, listening to what you're saying about letting clients down, I think exactly what you're saying. When you're running women's circles where women come together and support each other, yes, it's not the physical support of massage, but it is actually something even more special and a depth of connection when women come together in circle. And I totally agree. We're all the bloody same. We've all got the same fears and dreams and concerns and whatever. And always when we share with each other, it is a problem halved. Like, you know, I know that all those old cliche sayings, but they're so true. It's like we are designed to be in community and to have multiple generations of wisdom around us. And yeah, we all have our little, I don't know, I went to, I live in the country, but I went to Brisbane a couple of weekends ago and I was looking from the freeway at all the tiny little blocks with the, you know, the cookie cutter houses but they've got the fences and and I'm like, I wonder if any of those people actually even know their neighbours. Like I just wonder, like we live in, there's a trendy thing on Instagram at the moment, like humans aren't designed to be in boxes, to watch boxes, to eat out of boxes, to cook food in boxes, and I'm like, my God, that's so true. Like, yeah, it's such a. So what's the next layer? So women's circle wise, what is your big dream of being able to, well, not even dream, intention, that's a better word, of what to offer in those circles now that your business is pivoting towards that?
I want to be running monthly circles.
Yes.
I'm hoping that we get lawn.
Yes.
Because my big dream is to be able to hold boho high teas and to have like an open space for women to be able to come and to have people like yourself to come and facilitate and just to do some things. And just have it like a sort of a, I don't know, an open sort of, like I'd say festival, but not a festival.
Like a meeting space somewhere to come
just
and
like
connect.
And just to be with other women and the funny thing that I find every time that I have had a circle and women are speaking, we all have this self-doubt and we all have this feeling of not being good enough. And you know, and like some of these women, it's like, you know, I look at them and go, wow, like, you know, you're so beautiful and everything's going great for you. But then when you cut down to the core, they're self-doubt and they're ashamed of this and they don't like this about themselves and this is going on at home. And it's like, wow, we are all the same.
Absolutely.
We're all the same.
I always talk about the unholy trinity of the mindset. You know, the three core wounds that every human has is I'm not loved, I'm not good enough, and I don't belong. And we all make the mistake of thinking that everyone out there doesn't have those things. And when you start actually talking and sharing stories, it's like, nope, we all have them. They might be in different clothing. They might have different colors or different versions or amped up more or less or whatever. But it's all the same sameness. And it's like, so if we could dissolve that separation that we make between ourselves and other people, because we, you know, have this tendency to think everyone else has got their shit together and we don't, because we're inside our head and we're not in their head. Like if we can break down the separation, we would realize that we're all, I don't know, just get my woo-woo on, but all connected, all in a matrix of beautiful energy. And, you know, when one woman tells her truth, it just invites everyone else to be honest about theirs. So that's me. Yeah. Book me in. I want to be at the boho high tea. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I'll try and have lawn by the time you come down your bike ride.
I'm going to say it out loud. Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. I am going to share this on the podcast. Okay. And I'm going to be publicly. So I just told Krissy We have got friends, family all the way down the New England Highway, which goes right down the guts of Australia, if you're listening from overseas, the middle of Australia-ish. And I've got friends all up the eastern seaboard and friends in Adelaide and around where Krissy is from. So my husband and I have cooked up a crazy idea to do what I'm going to call the Joyride tour and go on tour on the bike and go and visit people and speak and teach yoga. Next weekend I'm learning menopause informed, or it's called yoga for the stages of menopause. So it's specific yoga and breathwork techniques to calm hot flushes and help with sleeping and all of those things. I'm super excited to start teaching those sorts of things because I'm like, yeah, women in circle, teaching people to self-heal, telling stories. Let's go.
Yeah, sign me up.
I know, right? And the Joyride, I don't know, that was an idea a long, long time ago, but it was going to be something completely different. And when Shane was saying, we should ride to Adelaide, I was like, that's what the Joyride is. But this is, these are the magical things that happen when you allow your soul work to drop in. So if you could go back in time, I hate these questions because it's like, well, I can't go back in time. But if Krissy could go back in time with the knowledge of her 51-year-old self, what would you deliver to yourself, I don't know, in your 20s? That would be your pearl of wisdom for how to stay true, especially when you've gone through this awakening into what is your soul's work with the women's circles and bringing people together. And kids' mindfulness, we didn't even talk about that. Tell me more about the kids' mindfulness before you answer that last question.
So kids' mindfulness, I've put it on pause this term. Mm-hmm. So each term I'm doing, some mindfulness. So they do an 8-week block.
Yeah.
Doing meditation and breath work, and it's just teaching the kids how to respond with we do a hand going up in the air, different parts of their brain, how they think and how they react and respond.
Beautiful.
So I'll start that afresh again because I got sick there. So I thought, no, I'll put this one on hold. Obviously, my body needs to regroup.
Mm-hmm.
So
shed some skins, shed some grief, letting go, getting rid of some shit, all that. That is very cool. My kids used to go to a Buddhist school and they used to meditate every morning. And in the time, I think they're in grade 2, 3, and then 3, 4 when we were there. So whatever age, I don't know what age that is, like 6 or 7 or something. That was such an amazing grounding for them to just understand that whenever their emotions got really big or their mind chatter got, whatever was telling them something that was a bit funky, that they could just close their eyes down and come back to center. So I think that work is so needed in the world. So, beautiful.
There's a lot more schools that are teaching, like my little grandson, when I was practicing, when I was first studying, I'd say to him, let's sit down, and I'd show him and go, I already know how to do this, Glam-ma. And it's like, I'm Glam-ma too, by the way.
Glam-ma. Oh my God, I'm stealing that. Glam-ma. That is so cool.
I'm not grand enough to be a grandma.
Well, see, Glam-ma is like, to me, it sounds like glamour. So I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I like it.
And he was only in kindy, and he said, I already know how to do it. And it's like, okay, you show me. And he did. He showed me exactly how to do the breathing and to sit quietly, hold his hands. And it was like, okay, cool. These kids are onto it.
Job done.
So, yeah.
So
they've got to learn young so that they don't end up being fucked up like going through the years.
Well, they've got to learn young, otherwise they end up like us trying to figure out how to come back to centre in our 40s and 50s, right? Like hopefully that will prevent that generation from having to get so lost to themselves. Beautiful. All right, final question. If you could go back in time and tell your 20-year-old self one thing, what would you choose to impart?
Just to be patient and not think that you need a partner to be there.
Oh,
amen. I'm going through it with my daughter at the moment. She's struggling a bit. She's separated from her husband and she's a single mum, and And as much as I want to be there 24/7 to help her and that, she is struggling, and I see it. But I just want her to just know to just, and like any girls young, just to take your time. Don't rush. Don't think that you need a partner to be there to help you with everything. You know what to do, and I knew what to do.
Yeah,
I just thought that I needed like another person to be there, but I did. I just needed to spend more time, and that's probably my biggest regret is what I put my kids through and not being present and having all my energy and time spent on my kids. So
yeah,
be patient. Be patient, and everything could work out. I actually, when I met my husband, where I put it out to the universe, I wrote a list of exactly what I wanted. The only one thing that is not correct is that he's a smoker. But I found him at a pub where I worked, and he walked in and he was everything that I wanted.
There you go.
So, yeah.
And continues to feel like a beautiful place to land in life, which that's what I would say, be patient and don't assume that you need to drop your standards to get the partner, because that's what I see all the time with the youngsters. It's like, no, you deserve, like, hold your worth, hold your worth, because if you hold your worth, you teach people how to treat you, and you will find, when it's meant to be, whenever that is, the partner that will also see your worth and hold your worth. And you don't need to drop your standards just to race into the next relationship, because especially not if they dress up in army clothes and isn't that ridiculous? Oh my God. I look back and I think my poor father would have just known he was an absolute bullshit artist, and he's had to just bide his time until he could actually prove to me that he was not a serving army member. Anyway, didn't think that was going to come out in a podcast episode. Thanks, Krissy. Thank you so much. Absolutely honouring the fact that these realizations, particularly around your first relationship, are very fresh and feel quite tender. And thank you for trusting us, to hold your story with the reverence that it will be in this community, because, these stories are not only feeling like healing by telling the story from the teller, but the receivers are also receiving their own healing. So thank you, beautiful lady.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, beautiful. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm just here to celebrate the fact that we have just clicked over 1,000 downloads of this beautiful podcast baby of mine. So funny to think, because it's 55 days or 56 days today since I actually had the idea and thought, I'm going to create that, and I'm going to share stories, and hopefully women will really resonate with all the messages. And you have resonated. You have taken the time to pop in reviews and messages and DMs to me just to say how inspirational all of these guest stories have been. And I'm so, so grateful that you're tuning in. And I'm just wondering if, like me, as we draw to the close of 2022, you're starting to realize that you are quite freaking tired. There's been a lot going on, right, on a global scale in our communities, breaking down of big structures in our society and conditioned belief systems or shared belief systems. And for a lot of people that I know, me included, a lot of stuff going on in personal lives, a lot of taxing, stretching stuff. And the thing is that I hear all the time that we've been taught that we need to keep pushing through. We need to be pushed through to get anywhere. We need to push through the tiredness or the exhaustion. But I'm here to actually offer a different point of view. What if the reverse is actually true? What if the very thing we actually need most to settle our nervous systems, to help our bodies feel safe and our minds to be calm, is actually to rest more? Rather revolutionary, isn't it? I've decided, as a gift from me to you for the end of 2022, and as we cross over the threshold into a brand new year, to gift you a beautiful experience called Revolutionary Rest. Revolutionary Rest is a deeply relaxing and restorative yoga nidra experience. It combines body and breath to come into stillness, and just to be. And it provides a beautiful respite from all the stress and the busyness and the obligation you might be feeling through the silly season. And I just really, really want you to be able to be gentle with yourselves. Be gentle. Remember that you are a precious, precious, miraculous being, and you need to be taken care of as well. So you'll find Revolutionary Rest completely free on the podcast website at kyliepatchett.com.au. I really, really hope you enjoy it. I've just listened back to it myself, and as much as it is a little bit weird to do a meditation to your own voice, it is really beautifully relaxing. And it actually is including a few of the tips that I learned in my last week's training and next weekend coming. I've just been joining a beautiful lady in Ireland called Neve Daly, and she has a form of yoga called Instinct Yoga. And the qualification that I'm doing is all about yoga to support the stages of menopause, including perimenopause and menopause and beyond. And one of the big things that we've talked about is that a key for supporting ourselves in our physical, emotional, mental, spiritual health, everything, is to come to stillness and rest so much more than what we do. So I hope you'll take me up on my offer as a gift from me to you. Merry Christmas if you celebrate, and Happy New Year if you're listening to this in January. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Thanks, guys. Bye.